I can remember growing up hanging posters on my wall, magazine clippings of some of the stars of the sport at that time. The people that I just looked at the wall at and said, I wish I could at least compete in BMX bicycles. I wish I could someday meet those stars. Well, later on in life, I eventually started racing and eventually turned professional and ended up sitting on the gate beside those very stars that hung on my wall on the posters. I befriended many of them, and now I've been blessed. I've been blessed to have my own show, a show that will spotlight those very BMX athletes that once hung on my wall. Hear their stories of struggle, overcoming, the good times and the bad times, their stories of victory, and not giving up. These are the stories that have made them the legends that they are, and worthy of schooling all of us on my show, Hurricane Maine's BMX Legends Class 2.0. Let's get it. Hey, welcome to the premiere of BMX Legends Class 2.0. Right here on His Hop Radio, where we get to know the legends of the sport of BMX. We go behind the scenes and we learn more about the individual themselves rather than the magazines and all the articles we saw. So we want to kind of touch inside that to inspire young people out there in BMX to go for their dreams in BMX or anything in life. And we have a special guest on the show today, a guest that I'm so grateful to have on the show. This is a new show right here, and it's awesome to be doing it, to give back to the sport that I love. And I got a special guest on the show, Marie Mcgilvary. Marie, say what's up to the listeners.
What's up, listeners? I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. I'm so happy to have you, and I thank you for coming on the show to share a little bit about your story, a little bit about yourself. You know, being a female BMX racer that's accomplished so much. And I know personally, because I was at many of those races, seeing you kick butt out there, and listeners, people out there, for those of you that don't know Marie, she's got a long list of accomplishments. I asked everyone to send me a bio, and hers was like, wow, it was super. But I'll just run down a few right here. She's part responsible for the return of the women's pro class in BMX. That's a big one right there. Is part of the reason it's in the Olympics, I'm sure. To this day, it starts with a vision, and she's like a 10-time Florida state champion, did some announcing, coached kids that have actually went out to win championship titles. And wow, you rode for CC Racing. I think you managed some on that team, didn't you, Marie?
I did a little bit of some of the team management when we were on summer tour. I would take the dually and the trailer, and we would drive from Florida. And for like 3 or 4 weeks, I'd have a bunch of kids with me, and we would do clinics, and I would run the team, and we would just have an all-around good time like a BMX family does.
Wow, and that's so awesome. And a lot of people don't realize what it takes to get out there on the road like that. They just see the glory side of it. They don't know what all you have to go through, from vehicles breaking down and can't find a hotel.
Oh my God, so when I started racing for CC, they were based out of Cape Coral. It was a real small team, and we took that team to 3 national titles.
Oh, wow.
So the last couple of years that I raced for them, I did the summer tour. So I would go over to Cape Coral, and Kevin, the team manager, couldn't go on tour for some reason. So I got like a 15-minute tutorial of how to drive a dually with a 26-foot trailer. So
hands on.
Here I am driving around Cape Coral in this dually, like trying to not hit anything, and like.
Oh,
granted, I can drive pretty much anything, but so then the next day, me, his daughter, and Ashley Knierim are headed up to Pittsburgh, and then we do our whole summer tour. And like you said about the breakdowns, on our way back, we got 2 flat tires on the trailer. And when I go to get the spare tire out of the trailer, it was flat.
Oh, God. That's
so
not good.
Like, oh, my God, yeah. So everything breaks down. Here I am trying to race a pro class, and I'm dealing with, like, managing a team and driving a truck. But, I would never take any of it back. It's all a part of the experience.
Right,
and,
right. Yeah, part of the journey.
Yeah, like announcing. If you can give back and you can do what you can do a lot of things in BMX. And, to this day, I get messages from people that say, I looked up to you or you inspired me.
See, that's what it's all about. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah. And you know what? You know what? I always tell my listeners, because I'm a motivational speaker, I dub myself as the motivator, and a lot of the reason that I'm a motivational speaker now is because of BMX, and it's because I had to listen to so many Rocky songs when training, so many ups and downs, and so many struggles, and so many reading books and learning affirmations and all this stuff, and I didn't know it back then, but it was developing me into the person that I am today. And so we try to learn from those experiences we go through, like with the tire being flat in the trailer and everything, the spare being flat. I guess you learn next time, hey, let's double check that before we hit the road.
Oh, yeah.
So
I learned so much from BMX, and it's given me confidence in my life. It's given me friends that I've had for decades. It's given me people that, we all share this common bond of a sport that we loved. And BMX is like, it's unlike any other sport that I can think of, just because, yes, it's very much an individual sport, but it's also very much a team sport. And then when you're a part of a team, you're also a part of a family. And
That's right.
Yeah, and you don't, and I didn't understand that till years later. Like, yes, I knew I was hanging out with the family, and yes, I knew these things were going on. But it wasn't until years later that I still have bonds with these people. And I'm like, you know what? When I was at Thanksgiving, I wasn't home with my dad. I was out on the road with these people, and these were my family. And when I went to Christmas, my dad, he stopped going to races. So they become your family. And that's like one very special thing I think about BMX.
Yeah, and that's so good you touch on that, because that's why when God sent me the idea to come up with this whole show, BMX Legends Class 2.0, when he sent me that, for some reason, I knew in my heart that I could reach out to you guys and you would be there for me. I knew that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and BMX is also another sport, like, it's like NASCAR in a way, because when you go to a NASCAR race, all your heroes are approachable.
That's
when
right.
You get there and you can go to the pit.
That's right.
And, there's not a lot of sports that you can do that. I mean, you could be walking in the pits and walk right in next to Elise Post.
Yeah.
And you can approach her. She'll talk to you. She'll sign an autograph.
That's right.
And most every pro is like that.
That's
so
right.
I think that's one special thing, is because we don't take it for granted. We love what we do. We know we know we're not going to make a living off of it.
That's right.
I didn't know that at the time. When I was 20, in my 20s, I thought, oh yeah, I'll be racing BMX the rest of my life, and blah blah blah. But you're very approachable. Where can you go up to an Olympian and get an autograph? Like seriously easy.
Yeah, and then they're cool with you. Everything's cool, and to me, all of us BMXers have that common similarity about us. You just feel it. I'd rather go to a reunion of my old BMX buds and everything rather than a class reunion from school. I mean, these are my classmates right here, They got 30 years of BMX under my belt.
Yeah, I mean, we had a few years ago, we had a 10-year reunion of CC BMX racing over in Cape Coral, and it was 3 generations of us. So it was the parents that ran the team, it was me who was 10 years younger, and it was the kids who were 10 years younger than me.
See.
And it was just really cool. I mean, we were playing like beer pong and stuff. It was really crazy. It was like it was like everybody's finally legal now. It's okay.
Right. Yeah, they're legal now. Back in the day,
they're legal. They're legal now.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a family, and
yeah.
I don't know.
Awesome.
It's just something that I'm glad I got involved in. when I grew up, my dad raised me by himself since I was 5 years old.
Right.
So when I got about 12 years old, my neighbors got into BMX, and they took me to the local track in Homestead. And I had like this big, stupid Murray bicycle with knobby tires and,
I remember
just a Kmart. Yeah, just like a case bike.
Yeah.
And my neighbor took me, and I went back home, and I was so excited. And I told my dad. So the next day, we're at B&B Bike Shop, Bob's Bikes, in Homestead, and we got a mongoose. And I thought it was the coolest thing. The bike was too big for me, but we didn't know.
Now, how old did you say you were at this time?
I started at 12.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so he gets me this mongoose, and he signs me up at Homestead, and he takes me out, and it was something as a single father back in the 80s, raising a little daughter. Like, what are you gonna do? You had to have something.
Yeah.
Some
kind of activity.
Something that him and I. Yeah, this is something that him and I could do together and bond. So we got this mongoose, and we went out to Homestead, and my first race, I'm signed up, and there's no girls there my age.
Okay.
So I had to race the boys.
Right.
And I got second.
Wow. See, that's what I was about to ask you. How was it out there? Because I just figured it couldn't have been many girls. And so I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, there wasn't that many girls locally, so I had to race the boys most of the time. And their dads would get mad when I would beat them. But you know what? I think, honestly, racing the boys made me a better BMXer.
Yes.
Because I wanted to win. And then I forget who it was. I wish I could remember his name. But there was one guy that used to come out there, and he used to really encourage me. And he's like, listen, you need to learn how to jump. And I'm like, girls don't jump. I was 12 years old.
Right.
So a few years later, he was still encouraging me. And I finally hit a double, and I cleared it.
Wow.
I borrowed somebody's cruiser, and I didn't even race cruiser at the time. I borrowed somebody's cruiser, and I jumped this double, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And finally, I started doing it on my 20-inch when I got the right size bike for me. We got the skinnier tires, and the smaller bike.
Exactly.
But I started, and I think that is one thing that really helped me out in BMX is that when I learned to attack those jumps, I was fearless.
Really? And see, starting at a young age like that was good too, because we don't wisen up until we get a little older. So when
oh my gosh, yeah,
when you're young and gung ho, you go for it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another story. When I was my first time at South Park, I remember going there and looking at that second straightaway and seeing those big doubles. And I was so excited. I'm like, all right, second lap, I'm jumping everything.
Are you kidding me? What do you mean, the pro doubles that was on that third straight?
No, not the pro doubles. That on the first turn they had the the step up and the two doubles and then the one big double into the turn.
Yeah,
so
that's major
like,
flow.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, all right, second lap, I'm hitting all these doubles, and I would do it every time. And then the last year that I raced, which was in 2001, when I was older, I went to South Park. And I looked at that straightaway, and I said, wow, I could really hurt myself if I don't make it over.
That's exactly what I think about now. I'm like, oh, God, I missed work. I be messed up.
Oh, yeah.
It really hurt.
You just think different. I mean.
Yeah. And it's scary now. It's scary, though. We've been so seasoned in it that, for me, I don't ever fall. I mean, I'm still going. I'm going hard, but I don't fall that often. So it scares me because I'm thinking, I know I got a big one coming. I know something's coming.
Yeah, but I mean, you also get smarter. Like, I was, in my career, I mean, I crashed a lot, but it's because I went for it. Like, I didn't, I wasn't, there's a lot of times that I could have just sat back in second place and taken second place.
That's right.
And I chose to go to first place. And, I mean, I crashed a lot because of it, but you know what? I can never say that I didn't go for everything.
That's right. That's right. Because you from a young age, you had the winner mentality because of the positive role models in your life. Your dad and everything. It sounds like, or did you have a lot of good role models coming up? because I want to see what puts a person in that frame of mind to go out and win, because some kids out there in BMX, they have struggles with those things, and they don't realize what type of training we're going through behind the scenes and everything, But
my dad, once we got involved in BMX, my dad got heavily involved in it, but on the officiating and the track director side.
Okay.
He's the reason we have the air ram piston now. His voice was actually...
tell us about that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, he created that. He was building those in our garage. Because when I started BMX, we could go to these different tracks all through Florida, and everyone would have a different gate system, and it was a magnet. So you could get there, and you could try to time it up, but every one would be different. So he's like, there's got to be a better way. And my dad's always been very crafty. So when he got into BMX, yes, it was to support me, but you know what? It also gave him a purpose, too.
Oh, okay.
So he was able to build all the pistons and the air rams, before we have the densing gate now that we have.
That's right.
But he was able to build everything and get everything almost in the same timing. And then when he got heavily involved in the NBL, doing all the gate starting and stuff at all the nationals, he teamed up with the Terra box people, and they got his voice on the Terra, and then everything.
So that was your dad's voice saying, "Riders ready, watch the gate."
Riders ready. I think it was
get them up. Riders ready.
Riders ready. Watch the gate. So that was my dad for a really long time.
Cool.
You can still find some videos online. It's pretty cool when I come across one. It'll be his voice, and then I'll hear Linda announcing the moto. But I did have a lot of positive role models. There was a lot of encouragement through different, team managers. Just a lot of support. I never remember anyone giving me a lot of problems, even though, girls were very much a minority back in the sport. What
about the boys that you beat out there, like in stage? What was going on there?
The boys weren't too bad. It was more of their parents that were just frowny face upon me.
Really? God, I know that was tough being a kid saying that. Or were you just a tough type kid that could take that stuff?
Oh yeah, my dad raised me as a single dad, so of course I'm tough. He built me up to be tough.
Okay.
he always used to say, what did he say? If you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough, or something like that. He would just always tell me, like, he raised me up to very much be a very proud female. He raised me up to be very, just appreciate what I do, what I can give, confident in myself. I talk to my dad. I still talk to him every day. So, he's always instilled that in me. And anytime there's been a problem in BMX that, somebody had, wronged me or something like that, he's went to bat for me. So,
right.
And there's been very few of those moments. But he's always been there. So
yeah, and that's awesome. That is awesome. That's what we need more. Even if it's not the parents, we just need more positive role models out there to motivate kids. And I have a foundation or organization called Give Life a Chance. It's Hurricane Maine's Give Life a Chance, and we bring awareness to suicide prevention, mental health, anti-bullying, and we put on events and we get speakers and musicians and all that good stuff, So I try to do that because I feel like that's my purpose in life, and I feel like if people have positive role models, that their kids will realize that, hey, if I find a purpose, they're on that right track today, and they want to find a purpose, and then they occupy themselves and they have a sense of purpose in life, and you won't see as many suicides and everything, because I think a lot of these suicides with young people are happening now because they just don't have a sense of direction in life. So it's so important.
Yeah, and everybody's so buried in a cell phone these days that the human interaction is gone. And this is another funny story. if I can tell it.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we went to the reunion, I was sitting there with the kids, and like I said, the kids are 10 years younger than me, so I'm 45, and they're all 35 or 33 or whatever. And I'm taking these kids on tour, and they're 15 and 16, so it's crazy. Like, I don't even know how I drove these kids across the country.
Right.
But we're sitting at this reunion, and we're having dinner, and one of the kids looks at me, and she's like, "How old were you when you were driving us around the country?" And I'm like, "I was about 26." And she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that." I'm like, "I know, me either." And then another one says, "Well, what did we do all those hours in the truck?" I'm like, "We talk to each other."
Yeah, you tell stories just like we're doing now.
Yeah, we had to read maps. I mean, we would go to.
Oh God, Oh God, I remember that. We had atlases, road atlases.
Yeah, we had to. I just can't just ask Siri where South Park is. I got to get on the red belt, the yellow belt, the blue belt, and I got to find a map to get me there.
Oh God,
It was just funny because I was like, we all talked to each other. We sang songs. Like, I played them Blink 182. I played them Social Distortion. I played them all this music that I was into, and they still listen to it today, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah,
They're still, that's stuff that we did. But yeah, I mean, it was just a different time. But and you're right about the role models. Like another story I have is I was in Walgreens. I was in Walgreens about 3 weeks ago. And I'm a huge college football fan. I love Michigan. Like, that's my team. And I always wear Michigan. I always wear something Michigan, even when they're not doing well.
Yeah, we're gonna have you on the promo flyer for this episode. We're wearing that Michigan hat.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm in Walgreens, and like you said, you got to be kind to one another. And people that wouldn't normally talk to each other need to talk. So there was an African American man in front of me, and he was wearing an Oklahoma hat. So I just said Boomer Sooner. I said Boomer Sooner because that's what they say, right? And we sat there in Walgreens, and we had a 30-minute conversation about college football. And I got his number, and we text pretty much every day. And when I went back to Walgreens last week, the cashier told me that he was having some problems. So I texted him. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" So we've been texting, but like you said, having a positive role model.
Yeah,
you never know. My text that I sent him just asking what's up might have made a difference in his life.
That's right. That's right.
It's something as small. It's something as small as checking in on somebody and asking if they're okay. Or just taking 5 minutes to talk to a stranger in a store.
Yeah, hold a door for somebody or something. Each one teach one. That's what I always say. If you do a kind gesture, and like I helped a guy jump his car off that wouldn't start about a week ago, and he said, "I don't have any money on me to give you." I said, "Don't worry about that. Just do me one favor. You do something good for somebody else." That's
exactly.
I mean,
it's something as small as that you never know could make a difference in somebody's life. And that's also what BMX is. And one of my favorite stories, and I'm not going to give her name out just because I don't want to embarrass her.
Okay.
But when I was in college, I got a letter. And it was from a little girl, and it said, "You're my favorite racer, and I always watch you. I always cheer you on."
Wow.
And the reason is because when I was 5, I was in staging, and you tied my shoe when nobody else would.
Oh, and that's something you probably even forgot. I bet you. Amazing. Amazing.
So, that's just the kind of interaction, that's why BMX is so great, because it gives us that opportunity. So, there's a pro in staging with you, and get to meet them, and she ties your shoe or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And hey, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, because I love BMX like that. I'll talk to people about my BMX days, my customers now, and everything, and my eyes start tearing up because it happened too fast. It went by too fast for one thing, but it's just awesome, just the whole thing, the whole vibe of it. I love the early mornings of a race and just the smell of the grass out there, It's just all of it, It's so wonderful.
Yeah, I remember, especially during this time of year.
Oh, okay.
In December, you go to that Thanksgiving race and you're done with it, and then all I could think about was the Christmas Classic. I didn't care what else was going on in my life.
That's right.
I was dialing in my bike. I was going to those practices on Wednesday, and I was riding Saturday, and I was just waiting to pack my bike up, get on that plane, get to Columbus, Ohio, slide down that stupid hill in the snow on a tray from the food court.
Yeah. I remember all that. And those are the good old NBL days. That's what that was. That I really miss that sanction, and things have changed so much in BMX. I've gone back out of retirement a few times, over the past years. I finished off in Elite Masters, but I've gone back a few times, and it's just a different vibe now with USA BMX and everything. I mean, what's before we go to a break, what do you think about how BMX is now, modern day BMX, the Olympics, it's in the Olympics now,
I mean, I think I have always been, back in the day I raced both sanctions quite a bit.
Right.
So, but I have always been preferential to the 3-motor transfer system, because when you go to a tater race, you want to race as much as you can.
Right.
When I would go to ABA races, I would win the first lap, the moto, and I could come back to the track at 6 o'clock at night and race my main. It was just a whole different vibe.
I know.
The one thing that I do wish is that I had the opportunity to go to the Olympics. That just wasn't around. That just wasn't around then.
Yeah, we missed that boat, but I guess that was one of the conversations you probably had on your tour bus, though. I know we did on Kavachi Wheels. We'd always talk about, they're talking about getting it in the Olympics and merging the sanctions, and then we said, nah, that's never going to happen. Did y'all ever have that conversation?
Yeah, and it happened. It's very different. I got a bike in 2016, and I went to my local track. I mean, I rode Mcgilvary, which is West Palm Beach. I rode that track 100,000 times through my career. It's been 14 years. It was 14 years since I've been on a bike.
Wow.
So I get this bike, and I get on the gate, and you could have heard my number plate rattling. I was so nervous.
Right. I know. And then,
but after like 3 laps, I was like, all right, this is good.
You start seeing some of it still there.
Yeah, I know. The skills came back. I didn't jump anything, but everything came back.
Yeah.
But it's just the USA BMX. I don't agree with everything that they do, but when you can have a Grand National over Thanksgiving weekend and you get over 700 motos, I mean, you're obviously doing something. You're obviously doing something right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because that's
what
they were.
But also, people do not have a choice. They don't have another choice now. That's the only place that they can race.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I mean, and I've always thought this. Like when I was racing both sanctions, this is what I always heard back in the day. You probably heard this too. Is if you want to have a good time, race NBL.
Yeah.
If you want to go kick some butt, race ABA. That's just kind of like...
Yeah, I always heard that. And it was like a different energy at the two events, because I did both sanctions too. And the NBL was always more of a family, like you say, NASCAR vibe to me. I mean, then down in Florida, the way you guys had it down there, because I know you were down in Jupiter, Florida, but Florida is like y'all's place. A lot of people thought I was from Florida because we go down there like 10 to 12 times a year with the state series with Kavachi Wheels, which is, by the way, listeners, that's Florida State Series is a big deal. I don't know about now. Is it still pretty big?
No, the USA BMX actually made them do away with the SSA, which was the Sunshine State Association. And I think 2 years ago. So, I mean, that's kind of sad, because you would come down to these races, we would have more motos than the Florida Nationals would get here.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
I would have,
it was nice.
I would have 2 or 3 racks of girls. So I would have at least a semi in pro girls.
I mean, for people that don't know about that, I mean, you had to be on your A game. Like Percy Owens told me one time when I went up to Elite Masters for the first time, he was like, when you come, be on your A game. you know, and that's how you had to be down in Florida. The best tracks.
Yeah, I mean,
the best.
You know, we're very fortunate to have the SSA, and I grew up racing in that. And even though, even when I got on GT and I was a pro, I never skipped the state season. You know, it's something I loved. It's something I grew up doing. I enjoyed it just because, you know, it's part of how I grew up, and I've always done it.
GT probably wanted you over there too, though, right? Because I mean, that was a big deal for PR and everything for companies. You know, that was a big.
Oh yeah,
series,
we had.
You know?
Yeah, when I got on GT, that's probably like one of my best accomplishments. I think that's like back in the day. It's not that way now, just because things are different. But that was. To me, that was like the pinnacle of reaching your dream and success.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? I'm gonna cut you off on that note right there, because when I come back, I want to take a break, and then we'll come back, and I want to talk about your accomplishments, about your GT sponsorship, because you know a lot of people want to know that. Well, me too. I mean, we saw you guys on GT in the big fancy trailer and everything, and we thought, wow, man, they're big ballers, you know. Wow, you know. So I want to go ahead and dispel the whole thing and get it out and let people know about some of those other great accomplishments, the world titles and all that good stuff that Marie Mcgilvary has done in her career. Okay.
Yeah, I'll drop the knowledge for you.
Okay. And with that said, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with more of the Hurricane Maine BMX Legends Class 2.0 with champion Marie Mcgilvary. Keep it locked. We'll be right back. I was always told that you get out of life what you put into life. So if you work overtime, then you'll get overtime pay. You see, I competed on a professional level in BMX bicycle motocross. And this was my passion. This is what I got up in the morning and trained for. Worked out, studied videos, rode mile after mile. I really concentrated and focused on this sport because this is what I felt God had for me. Now I knew that I couldn't do it forever, but I was going to do the best at it while I was doing it. Training, knowing that I have an event coming up and knowing other guys are training, so I put all the hard work and effort in. And then, heartbreak. Go to the race and come home in defeat. Not doing nearly as good as I imagined or hoped to do. But I was always told by mentors throughout life and different things that I studied that we have to learn from our mistakes. Fell our way to the top and learn from every last drop. So sitting around crying and feeling defeat was not an option with me. Though I go through it for a second, but I bounce back and come back for a victory. And I was gonna persist until I got that victory. And even after I got victories in BMX, I have sometimes when I have defeat again, and I start to learn as I got older that yes, this is how you fell your way to the top, and you learn from your mistakes and you get stronger and stronger. Now I eventually accomplished winning a couple titles, and now I'm able to inspire kids to keep dreaming their dreams. And that's what I'm sharing with you. Keep dreaming your dreams. Never get discouraged, because you get out of life what you put into life. I'm Hurricane Maine, and I thank you. All right. We're back with more of Hurricane Maine's BMX Legends Class 2.0 with legendary Florida and national champion Marie Mcgilvary. You still there, Marie?
Oh, I'm here. Hang in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wish we had a longer show because it seems like we can talk for hours with stories and everything. That about the trailer you told me, it was so hilarious and everything. Reminds me of many of nervous nights driving the Cavachi Wheels truck and trailer and just about crashing in the snow. I got plenty of stories too.
Oh, we could probably go for days and days and days.
Yeah. But what I want to do, though, is kind of go off of where we left off from. You were talking about being sponsored by Gary Turner, or rather GT, one of the biggest industries, probably still to this day in the sport of BMX and this whole cycling industry. And you were blessed to be sponsored by them at one time. And I want to talk about that a little bit more and go into some of your accomplishments, too, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
But how was it riding for GT? Yeah, tell us about GT.
Man, it was so cool. When I got the call that I was going to be on that team, it pretty much changed my whole BMX life. As a kid, all those kids from California would come to Florida, and they would do a summer tour, and they would teach all these clinics, and they were what I looked up to, and there haven't been many female racers on GT.
Right.
There have been a few. There have been a few, and I can name them probably all on, all my fingers, maybe 10 of them. And to be one of those was just amazing. And and I want to say this because a lot of people probably won't know this, is we dominated the 2 seasons that I was on GT from 96, 98. Yes. We won ABA, NBL twice, and we won 2 world titles. So we were just dominant.
What was the secret? What was the key? Just knowing that you ride for GT? What made all you guys so good?
No, I'm going to tell you this is what made the difference for me. It might not be for everybody personally. I think we were all very good riders, but GT took care of everything. You would get plane tickets in the mail, 4 or 5 at a time. Once you showed up at the airport, you got food money. They picked you up in a Lincoln Town car. You had a hotel that you only shared with one other person. You didn't have to worry about anything. They fed you at the track. I think that was a big part of what made GT so special. Is they were doing everything for you.
Right.
Everything, to the smallest detail, they would do everything for you. So I think, yes, we were an elite group of riders. I guess that's what I want to say.
Yeah, because for people like myself, it was the exact opposite of that. It was like you wouldn't get anything through the mail. So forget that part.
I've been on the other end of that too.
I bet.
Worried about where I'm sleeping, who's going to pay my entry fee.
Yeah.
I've been on both spectrums of it, so that's maybe why I appreciate it more, and that's maybe why I realized that really made a big. They made us eat breakfast in the morning. It wasn't an option. They made us eat breakfast. Really? It was just different.
Now, who was the manager of GT in those days?
Hang on, I got somebody at my door. Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
Okay. Cool. Real life, people. This is real life. I'll edit
okay, it's all right. I'm sorry.
You're good now. You cool. We'll edit that part out.
Leave it before. You'll have to edit that out.
But who was the manager of GT back then?
Todd Corbett.
Todd Corbett. Okay, TC. Cool.
Yep, TC. Brian Gass was running things behind scenes. Brian Fell was the East Coast team manager.
Yeah, Brian Fell. I remember him. Yeah.
So, and we had, go ahead.
No, I was listening to you talking about Brian Fell and all of them and everything, and I'm just thinking with that, you had to have some good managers to recruit such a good group of riders. And then, how many BMX riders would turn down GT when they got the call?
Nobody was gonna turn down GT back in the day.
No way. Were they demanding though? Was it a lot of? You said you had to eat. It was very important. Mandatory.
They didn't force us to eat, but they would take us to breakfast every morning. And like, you know, a lot of teams just, you know, hop in the car, grab a bagel from the hotel, and you go. But no, they would take us to Cracker Barrel. They would take us to somewhere, and we'd have like a decent meal. And they thought that was very important that we ate.
Right.
And which I agree to that to this day. You know, it's probably very important that we ate.
That's right. That's right.
You know, because like there's a lot of times that I would show up on a track and I had to get something from the concession stand because, you know, nobody had time to stop anywhere. But I think that made a big difference. And I mean, what's funny is looking back, a lot of people, even I do to this day, GT, Powerlight, Robinson, and Auburn, everybody called us the firm.
Yeah, that's exactly. I remember that too. I remember that. That's what y'all were. You know, serious business right there. You know. Yeah,
I mean, it was business. I mean, we were getting paid. Like when we won Team Sheet. When we won Team Sheet, you know, 2 weeks later, I get a check in the mail splitting the winnings with everybody. So I mean, it was very much a job, but they weren't strict. It was really funny when they got the Florida kids when they got us, the East Coast team, together. Because the California kids were all like kind of clean cut, whatever. And so here comes me, Kevin Doherty, Randall Neve, Andrew Freslin. Half of us have piercings, half of us have tattoos.
That Florida bunch, they mixing it up. Like, we got hippies on the team now.
And then we go to a national, and in between motos, we'd have a whole table set up in the tent where we're playing spades. They were just like not used to all that.
Really? Oh God. Yeah. So those kids on the West Coast, they did kind of look Malibu-ish.
It was just a total different. We came back, you know, all laid back, pierced out, tattooed, playing spades, and everybody else was over there, you know, eating peanut butter and granola and getting up for their photos.
and you guys are going out there handling business, though, taking care of business on the track. And you know, I bet being so dominant for so many years, you know, I know you had a target on your back. Big time. And then riding for GT, because I'm looking at your bio. Didn't you win your first national title in '92?
I believe so. And then the hardest thing I ever did in DMX is I did a three-peat. So three pro titles in a year, man. That was tough.
Wow.
There was that. I mean, I don't know that there was necessarily a target because I don't think we aim to crash each other, but I mean, people definitely wanted to beat me. Yeah,
they want, as far as the target, as far as them wanting to beat you, because I know you had a rival in Michelle Carnes out there. Shout out Michelle Carnes. But I know you guys. I'm
gonna get Michelle on your show next. So
we're gonna get her. Yeah, so be careful what you say right there, Marie. You know she's gonna be coming. She's gonna do a follow up.
She's Hall of Fame. You know, I can't be too mean to her.
That's right.
But you know, but it's funny. Like there was this one race in Georgia. I forget. I think it was Atlanta. It was an indoor race in Atlanta, and I was on GT. She was on Haro. And back at the time, that was the two. Those were the two, main factory teams that were competing against each other.
Right. And see,
you couldn't get much bigger than GT and Haro.
See you guys on the gate. Everybody run up to the fence. You know, everybody had to see it. You know.
So this in the last moto, we go into the last turn. I'm winning. Carnes puts the elbow into me and sends me over to church.
Wow. That happened in Atlanta.
It was in Atlanta. It was a cold race, I remember too. Anyway, so I make my way back to my pit. I'm like, whatever. I'm sitting there under the tent, and Michelle has to go by me to go to her pit area.
Okay. Oh God.
So she kind of looks over. I go, you know what's coming, right? And she just kind of nods. She just kind of nods and walks by.
Really? Yeah, she was a tough cookie too. She was tough too.
So she nods and walks by. So that then it's the main time.
Oh.
And we go into that last turn. I'm in second place. Okay. Oh man, I buried my elbow into this girl.
Did you? Did she go over the turn?
You know what? I cannot remember if I actually got her over the turn, but I know that because I banged into her, Heather runs past us and won.
Oh, God.
But I nailed her. Yeah, she knew it was coming. She's like, I knew when we got to finish. Like, I knew you were coming after me.
That's right. And I'm sure you guys, you had to meet each other a lot on the gate, being from the same state and everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all ever train together, though?
No, because like back in our day, we didn't really train.
Oh, you did?
I mean, it was just it was just ride and practice. Like we didn't do sprints or, anything like that. Michelle and I were a little bit different in age. So when I raced the Florida State Series, I only raced her every other year because of our age difference. Because it was like the Florida State season was like 12 to 13 girls, and it was 14 to 15 girls. So it was every other year that I raced her.
Gotcha.
But I mean, her and I, and me and Monica Kelly, like, we would put each over a turn, and we're sharing a hotel room, and all is well. So
yeah, and shout out to Monica Kelly too, because I remember all you guys just really battling out there, and it just goes to show that females can do this stuff too, because there's a lot of girls out there that hear about BMX and they see it on TV when the Olympics comes out and everything, and they're thinking that these are just super women out there that they can't be like that. But I guess with hard work and perseverance, you can do it.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I would take away from like the Supercross and the Olympics that I do find negative is that when you watch that on TV, that doesn't represent true BMX.
No, it doesn't. No.
When I watched the Olympics, and these guys just crashing over these huge jumps, and it's just so gnarly.
Yeah,
that's really not what root level BMX is.
Yeah, I tell you what, that'll make a parent not let their kids race.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. But I will say, I was watching a few years ago. I think it was the first race that, maybe the first Supercross race that Elise won in Papendal, when she jumped that triple in the main in the first turn and took the lead and beat Caroline. Oh my gosh, I was like, that is something I would do. You gotta go out for it. You gotta get that done.
That's right. That's right. Because Elise, she's amazing, to see but it's just like a new generation and a whole different type of thing. I've been on the gate with Stromberg, and I mean, that kid's unreal. He's just what they call him, a machine, and I mean, so the athletes, I don't think they're in any better shape or ability-wise. I mean, if we had those tracks, we would have learned to ride those too. But it's definitely something amazing to see, but definitely not the BMX that we can really associate with, There's safer tracks out there, parents. There's safer tracks.
Yeah,
there's we want to recruit.
Definitely safer tracks, but I would have loved the opportunity to ride one of those Supercross tracks, because I think I would have loved it. It would have been something that was just right up my alley, as far as jumping wise, and even if I didn't make it, like just at least giving it a try, because it was so big and so it was just humongous. I mean, I remember going to Kentucky for the bands one year, and I think I was 16 and over girls before we had the actual like elite class, and I hit the whole pro section on that third straightaway.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I think I remember that. I think I remember that.
I did the first two jumps. I don't think I made the third one. I think I chickened out on the third one, but I did the first two jumps, and people were like, holy crap.
Wow. You had pros out there that wouldn't jump this stuff. So that's what I mean.
But like I said, that comes from when I was 12 years old, and that guy that was mentoring me told me, you need to jump to be good at BMX. You need to jump. And he just kept putting that in my head.
So that stuck with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's something, I didn't quit, and I learned how to do it. And that's one thing. If there's one thing I could go back and do in BMX, like if I could go back tomorrow and be in my 20s, I would love to go to South Park. and just hit that second straightaway, and get backside on those jumps.
Are you anything like me? Cause now that I'm like a seasoned veteran, maybe vintage. I think I've crossed over into vintage now. and are you anything like me where you can kind of play out the motions that you got to make to jump big jumps like that in your head, so to speak? The things that you didn't realize back then, if you know what I mean. Cause back then there were some techniques that I was having struggles with, that now I just do it naturally because I just take the time and I can break everything down. Have you ever thought that way, to break like techniques down on how to execute clearing stuff like that? Because I got all scientific on it. I did.
Yeah, I don't know that I did it when I was younger. I mean, I don't know. It just came to me. Like when I first started, I was one of the first girls in the NBL, not the first, but one of the first girls in the NBL to go with the clipless shoes.
Okay.
To go clipped in.
Yeah.
I was one of the very first.
Wow.
And then what I realized is once I got those shoes, I don't know that it made me faster because I don't know that I even understood like the push-pull of all of it.
Yeah, right.
But it made me feel like I was locked into my bicycle.
And some people get scared of that. When it first started. That was good for me though.
It was good for me too. And then what it also helped me do is it helped me perfect my jumping a double and nose diving. Like I was able to nose dive and catch that backside, and it was just something that locked me into that, locked me into that bicycle. And then when I tried to start riding a few years ago, I came back and I said, well, I'm 40 years old. The logical thing to do is ride on flat pedals.
Yeah. What'd you do? Throw the clips on?
Oh my God! Two laps later, my feet are slipping off the pedals. I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna work.
I know. I don't like the flats, and everybody's always, we're gonna have a flat pedal race. I'm like, oh God, I'll probably jump off of the bike coming out of the gate.
The flats weren't working. I was just too used. My feet were slipping all over the pedals. So but like you said, BMX has changed.
Yes.
I'm excited, to see the girls that are racing. I am a little sad, when I watch the Grands and they barely have a semi when we used to get quarters.
Right.
It's just different. I'm not going to criticize it. It's just different.
Right.
I'll still watch every year,
Yeah, and that's cool. We still support it, and that's what I'm doing with shows like this right here. I mentioned it on my other show, and I'm trying to get some involvement myself back into BMX in 2020 this year and everything, and just trying to do some sponsorships and stuff and just get involved, and maybe the idea come to one of us old heads and some kind of thing that'll be revolutionary and make things grow again, may even bring the NBL back. Who knows?
If I ever won the Powerball, that's exactly what I would do.
You bring the NBL back? Wow.
I bring the NBL back with all of us old school guys.
Heck yeah, I'd be there. Yeah, man. Gray hair and everything. Because and it would be fun, and it's just a pipe dream, of course. That's not gonna happen, but it would be fun because it's people that I think riding for the NBL. And we all just love BMX. We all just love the sport, right? Yeah, we do.
I would have been like, Okeechobee was my local track, and they were very back in the day. Okeechobee was very strict. They were very you had to do a sticker, you had to do this, you had to get your bike inspection, you could only do this, and this. And I would pass Okeechobee and drive another 45 minutes to go to Coral Springs, which was not a very not as nice a track as Mcgilvary, but they were very relaxed. I would just go there because the vibe was so cool. Like I would even be out there raking the track, before practice. So it's just like it's just
That's
something.
Cool.
It was just about the vibe, And then
yeah, that's where you want to go to where you can get a good, comfortable vibe. I'm fortunate right now because I live like 10 minutes away from a BMX track. So I don't live too far from one. And what sucks about those, I never go there. Every blue moon, I'll say, I wonder if I can still ride. I mean, I bought a new bike and everything, and I'll go out there and I'll say, I'm just going to be safe when I get there, just going to stay safe. I know I've been off of the bike. I'm talking to myself. I'll get there and do like 2 laps, safe. Next thing you know, I'm busting over the doubles and everything. You know, I'm just going for it because it's in the back of it's in our subconscious.
I mean, you get also muscle memory. Like when you go over and jump, your body knows how to handle manually. You know, I might not jump things, but my body still knows. And then like by the 3rd gate step, I was already like, dun, 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 1, 2, 3, go is what I always said. Dun, 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 1, 2, 3, go. I was already like doing the shoulder move, you know, before the gate. I was already up there.
Yeah, and you know what? A friend of ours, you know, Bernard Gant. Shout out Bernard Gant. He's gonna be on the show soon too.
BJ.
BJ. He's getting back into BMX, and it was funny what he put on Facebook. His first day back at the track, he was like, "Man, I got tired just pushing my bike up to the track." So he's like, I'm wore out. My legs are wore out.
When I was on CC, BJ actually drove the box van to all the nationals and set up our tents and stuff.
Did he? Wow.
Yep. So, I spent a lot of time with BJ.
Yeah, I just always felt like all of you Florida riders were connected anyway, like one big firm. Now they're just all you guys, you know, because and we love coming down there to race. We love it. Yeah,
it was good racing. I mean, we had an excellent state series, and you know, we had a good group of people, and you know, there wasn't too much, you know, and I loved announcing. Like I miss announcing so much. That was so much fun for me. It was like
get you back out there.
Maybe.
Are you doing anything BMX related now?
Just complaining about it on the internet.
There you go. I'm sitting here having delusions of grandeur, thinking I can actually go back out there and do something. But I feel like I can. I'm going to do it. I'm going to find out soon enough. Get through the soreness and all that stuff that you have in the beginning. But then it works the kinks out and you're feeling great again. And it's about quality of life anyway. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, staying in shape. But it's been awesome, Marie. It's been so awesome. We're getting toward the end of the show. And before we go, if you wanted to share anything else with the listeners that we may have not covered, or give some shout outs, or let people know how to contact with anything you're doing, if you got any organizations you're involved with, or whatever. You got anything?
I just want to thank. There's been so many people over my career that have been supportive of me, you know, have given me sponsorship opportunities, have given me a place to stay, have given me rides to BMX races, have given me encouragement. Still people that I'm friends with today. I want to thank all those people. There's way too many to name. But I do appreciate everything that all of them have done for me. You know, and I hope that, you know, kids maybe will listen to this and stay motivated to ride BMX, because it is a great sport and you'll find a family in it. You know, and just go out there and ride your bike. You don't have to train like a madman. Go out there, ride your bicycle, and have fun. That's really all there is to it. And I want to thank you for having me on your show.
Hey.
It's been awesome. I could probably talk to you all day. So.
We do hit it off pretty good, don't we? And we never knew that back in the day. You know, I see you sometime. I speak, and you're just cool as the rest of the superstars. You know, you're always cool. You know, and it's so awesome.
I do appreciate that, and that's what I tried to do. You know, I didn't think I was anything special. You know, I won a couple races here and there, and I always tried to give back as much as I could. You know, I always tried to just be humble. You know, I rode a stupid bicycle. That's all I did.
That's right. That's right.
And I mean, that's honestly it. I rode a bicycle. I was pretty good at it, and some kids looked up to me. So I was very fortunate that kids looked up to me, because that's a big thing when you have somebody that looks up to you. You can't, you can't do stupid things at the track. You can't, you can't be a bad role model. So
that's right.
I was very fortunate for that. And I want to, like I said, I want to thank everybody. I'm going to give a shout out to Monica Kelly, who I will see tomorrow, and Michelle Carnes, who I will see on Sunday. Despite what people might think, after us crashing each other, we are all still very good friends.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We got to get them on the show so they can share their stories and talk a little bit about y'all's rivals and all that stuff. That's what we're doing right here on this show. We're sharing stories about my old family, the BMX community out there. I want people to know that we're not just a bunch of people pedaling around on bikes, but we have serious stories and deep stories to share too. I thank you so much, Marie. I thank you so much.
Again, thank you for having me, and anytime you want to chat, you got my number.
Hey, I sure do, and I will be hitting you up. Make sure, though, all your friends download the His Hop Radio app on App Store or Google Play, or iTunes, okay?
All right, sounds good. Take care.
All right, you take care, and you be in contact too,
All right, I will.
Okay, thanks a lot, and God bless you.
God bless you too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes, sir. And with that said right there wraps up the first episode of the premiere of Hurricane Maine's BMX Legends Class 2.0. That's right. I want to thank Marie Mcgilvary once again for sitting in with us on the phone. That was a great interview. I love these interviews because you get to know so much about the individual that you never would have known without shows like this. And I want you to tune in next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another great episode of Hurricane Maine's BMX Legends Class 2.0 featuring BJ Gant. Bernard Gant. That's right. The legend himself out of Florida will be on the show to tell his story about being a legend in BMX. All right? Well, next week I will be inside of your device, but make sure this Tuesday you tune in for another great episode of the Hurricane Maine Show right here on His Hop Radio. And you know what it is. I'll be locked inside of your device Tuesday morning with an all-new episode, so that's going to be a good one to check it out. I'm going to have an author, Beth Ann Cordington. She'll be on the show. She's the author of book Redemption, From Crack House to God's House. So that's going to be a good one coming up, people. I appreciate all of your support. All you BMX racers that are racing today, get out there and do the thing. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're just shredding on the track or whatever, keep it safe. Wear your helmets and, just keep believing in yourself. All right? All right, people. Just keep it locked into His Hop Radio. We got more great shows coming up. And that's it for me. I'm out. Thank you and God bless.